Hey, it's Heather Tankersley here, your Austin Real Estate Connection. And today I want to talk a little bit about one of the big questions that I've been getting lately, and it's kind of the biggest question regarding the pandemic is what's going to happen to real estate. If you're watching the markets and you're seeing what's happened in the news, you're probably a little bit nervous and aren't real sure what that means for real estate. And that's especially true for anybody that experienced or even knows about the crash of 2008, where the real estate market essentially took a nosedive in many different markets. The thing is, right now, we're in a very different type of environment. Yes, there's definitely economic uncertainty. There's going to be challenges for sure, at least through the second quarter, potentially beyond. A lot of people are impacted, out of work, pay cuts, things of that nature. So there certainly is an economic hardship. The difference is the crash, so to speak, didn't happen because of something unstable in the market. In 2008, there was a lot of craziness going on in the housing market, which we'll save for another conversation. But the reason I bring that up is the economy, all the factors were very, very strong going into this. So this is a health issue, not necessarily an economic issue, assuming that we can get it fixed and get people working and open up economies again quickly. And there's a lot of states that as of May 1st are starting to slowly open up their economies. So we're very hopeful that generally across the board we're going to see some improvement with the economy very, very soon. So don't kind of put all your eggs in the baskets of the markets. If you're watching them go up and down and kind of freaking out, kind of don't worry about that. This is not like 2008, first and foremost. Second of all, in the Travis County area, we're actually ranked 457 out of 483. In other words, in the top 30 of the least vulnerable markets in the country, and 5 of those markets are actually in Texas. So we're doing pretty good from a real estate standpoint. And pretty much according to all experts, professionals in the field, everybody is pretty much predicting that the market's going to continue to rise. The demand is still there. Sellers still need to sell, but more importantly, there are a lot of buyers waiting to buy for a number of reasons. So let's kind of talk about what happens next with a few caveats, because again, the market is going to rebound. It's not actually in a bad spot. We just have fewer buyers and fewer sellers actively in the marketplace right now, but we all are kind of predicting that's going to change as soon as certain things happen to make that possible. So there's going to be a couple of caveats to this. We are seeing some buyers backing out. Lenders are actually doing employer verifications right up until closing. So if a buyer has run into some issues with their employer at any time during the loan process, there's a really good chance that that's going to cause problems with the loan. So that's one thing to kind of be aware of and just understand it's happening and we're just all working through it. And hopefully, again, everybody's back to work and things can kind of return to a little bit more of a normal state sooner than later. A lot more stuff is also happening virtually. So in other words, if you're looking for houses, you can expect to see more and more people having 3D tours of their homes, and not just kind of the ones that are kind of clunky where you walk or like kind of look around and things get distorted, but real true 3D tours where you can kind of walk yourself through the actual property. So when you go to see it, you're just almost verifying that what you saw in that tour is for real, and it's you know what you're buying, so to speak. So that's going to help quite a bit because it's going to enable you as buyers to have to drive around less, walk into a lot of houses that you just walk in and go, not the one. It's going to save you time. It's going to make it more productive. It's going to make it a lot easier for you. And sometimes homes don't necessarily convey perfectly in photos, so this helps you get a better feel for it. So that's one thing that's changing pretty significantly. And if you're selling, the whole virtual thing might make you a little nervous because, a month and a half, 2 months ago, you might have 25 people walk through your home the first 3 or 4 days it's on the market. Now you might have 4 or 5. But the thing is the people coming through your home have already kind of seen your home, and they're just making sure they like it and kind of comparing, using it as sort of a last step. So they've done a lot of their homework and they're pretty set on it, or they might be deciding between 1 or 2 homes or something of that nature. So I think your number of tours ratio to number of contracts submitted is going to increase sharply. So I think you'll have fewer people coming through, but the people that are coming through are going to be really likely to give you an offer on your home. I think there's also really high demand right now, and that's for a number of reasons. One, inventory is still very, very low, especially for this time of year. Normally we see quite a bit more homes on the market. There's a lot more activity, but people are just not out and about as much. People that don't have to buy or sell right now are maybe holding off to see what happens. Sellers don't necessarily want folks walking through their house if they don't have to sell. Buyers don't necessarily want to be walking through houses if they don't have to buy. So we're kind of seeing a little bit of a shrinking there, but the demand for the inventory is still very strong. Homes are moving very, very quickly when they do come on the market. Now, as things start to open up, and part of that, by the way, is because certain states are actually not able to come, or folks from certain states are actually have travel restrictions placed on them. So for instance, if you want to buy in Austin and you wanted to come out and check out some homes this weekend from California, you're actually quarantined for 14 days inside once you get to Texas. So it doesn't make it real practical for folks to come in and kind of do a sightseeing tour or check out some homes or some neighborhoods or things of that nature. So we're kind of hamstrung there because there's a lot of folks that can't even get in to look at homes. And hopefully as restrictions start to ease up and people are doing smart things to keep going up the levels of restriction reduction, if you will, we're going to hopefully see the travel restrictions in one of the next phases so folks can come in. Now, what that's going to do is get a whole lot more buyers into the marketplace again, and we're going to kind of go back to that bidding war thing, even though we can't get through houses get people through houses as easily as we could have, let's say, 2 months ago. So that's part of why the people think, oh, well, there's not as many buyers. Well, there are, and there's still quite a bit of local activity, but even more so, there's people that can't get here to buy homes. And we're seeing lots and lots of folks that are actually buying homes sight unseen for this purpose, whether they have to be here or they find something on online, they've done the tours, they've done a FaceTime video, what have you, and they say, okay, this is the home, I'm willing to just jump all in, even though I can't get out to see it. And that's happening more and more. So as things open up, even more demand is going to be there. So I don't think we're having any kind of demand issue, especially in the Austin area. Another thing, a lot of people are saying, oh, I'm just going to wait because I'm going to get a deal. The market's going to crash and I'm going to wait because all these people are going to have to sell their homes and I'm going to get some smoking deals. Again, that's kind of going back to the 2008, 2009 psychology. And I totally get it. And if you don't have to buy and you are looking for investment, then this may be a good time to kind of keep your eye out, because inevitably there are going to be people that are impacted and there are going to be distressed sales as a result. It's just not going to be like it was a decade plus 12 years ago, just because, again, the underlying circumstances are very, very different. And so I think if you're just hoping I'm going to hold out to buy because I want a deal, that may not necessarily happen, at least in the Austin area or some of the other larger metros within Texas. And again, as soon as the shelter in place was lifted, but as soon as the other restrictions start getting looser and travel restrictions loosen up, we're going to have a huge demand again for all the buyers that haven't been able to get here or are not comfortable traveling. I think we're slowly going to see that start to open up again. So those are just a couple of kind of updates when people say what's going on with the market. I think we're very strong. All the agents that I talk to are super busy right now. It's just kind of exploding. I think people are saying, okay, summer's coming, restrictions are lifting, it's beautiful weather outside, I want to get out, I want to do stuff, I want to kind of go back to normal. If you've been kind of quarantined for 6 or 7 weeks, you're going, okay, I'm ready to go back to normal. And I get, we got to do it safe and we got to do it the right ways, but people are ready, and we're starting to see signs of that pretty quickly here. So that's just kind of a quick market update. And for now, guys, just stay safe, be strong, and keep smiling until next time.